So that being said, this practice, you will need definitely 2 blocks, maybe a bolster or something. We do have a yogic squat, and I want you to have something to sit on in your yogic squat. I don't want us to hold ourselves in yogic squat today. For me, I'm going to use probably a bolster and a block, just because I like to have a little bit of elevation. Totally didn't mean to do that, but there it is. So go ahead and take those, and obviously blankets and stuff. There's pigeon in here. So if you want support for that as well, we will need that. A couple of breath practices that we will be doing are Sat Kriya. And this is a fun little doohickey where we speak on the inhale and the exhale. So it sounds like this. So I'm saying Sat Nam. I'll put that in the chat. Sat Nam. And I say Sat on the inhale and Nam on the exhale. Nam. Now, if you don't want to do that, just go. Just find the bellows breath. If you're doing our morning sadhana, it's bellows breath. Basically, we're just adding words to the bellows breath. And the Sat Nam means I am truth, I am light. That's all it is. So it's that I am statement. The other, let me think about this. Everything else, I think there was a breath of fire, but I took it out. We'll see if it comes back in as we go. Yeah, we'll see if I put it back in as we go. Breath of fire is simply that strong diaphragmatic breath, that exhale with a reflexive inhale. I'm an Iowa girl, so I call it a farmer's blow. You're in the field and like you get all the gunk and like you don't have Kleenex and you just gotta like just get it out. It's that, and then a reflexive inhale. I know, right? TMI, visual, there it is. But now you know what I'm talking about, right? Many years I did that. It was like the high school, detasseling was the high school job, right? The summer job as a high schooler. All right. That I think is it. Oh, and the mantra is a little funky again. Om Namo Guru Dev Namo. This is our mantra at the end. This is what we do at the beginning, and we're doing it at the end. So it's Om Namo Guru Dev Namo. We're just going to repeat it nice and slow, and that simply means I bow to the holy, to the teacher within, the microcosm within the macrocosm. Okay. So, and it's cool because there are, well, you'll see, there's full circles in this practice in multiple ways. And it'll be fun to kind of see where that takes us. Okay, let's go ahead and get settled in. I'm going to turn my music on. Okay. Any last questions or comments? Okay. Come to a comfortable seated position. I'm going to turn my overhead lights on and just settle in for a minute. Oh yeah, that's better. Put your hands on your body. Feel your body under your hands. And start to feel the breath in your body. And let me say, as we do some of this mantra, the singing, the purpose of that is simply to bring sound into our body and use our body as a vibration chamber. Because we're all vibrational, energetic beings, and we are tuning to each other through sound, even online. So use the words that feel good to you. Find the intention that feels good to you. Maybe you just make noise, and that's cool. The best part is that you're all muted, so no one gets to hear you. You can make any noise you want as we sing. So I just give you that permission to find the sound that aligns with you. All right, let's bring our hands together. Rub our palms together. Feel that connection. And this turns on our heart chakra, that center of truth that I talked about early on. Palms press, thumbs to the sternum. Let's lift the heart, and we'll begin by singing Ong Namo Guru Dev Namo. So we begin like we are going to end, and that just simply means I bow to the holy, to the teacher within. I am my own best teacher. Let's take a breath first. Let's inhale. Exhale. Inhale to begin. Ong Namo Guru Dev Namo. Release the hands, and let's start to make circles with our upper body. So Sufi grind as we go. So when we do Kundalini, if this is your first practice with me, welcome, first of all. Second of all, we do this for a set amount of time. And I get to keep track of the time, so you don't even have to worry about it. And typically in these practices, we do things for 2 minutes. But in Kundalini, you can do them for as long as you choose. 7 minutes, 11 minutes, 5 minutes, 9 minutes, 20 minutes, who knows? But for our purposes, we will do most things for about 2 minutes. And we do that so that your body can integrate the movements in a different way than just a traditional yoga practice. It gives it time to learn and to understand at a deeper level. Keep going in that same direction. And now we get to switch directions. Inhaling as we circle forward, exhaling as we circle back. Feeling this movement really originate in the hips and the pelvis. Letting this be slow and spacious. On your next inhale, come to center. Hold the breath in the body. Feel the belly expand with the breath. Lift the pelvic floor. We call that root lock. Pause. Be absolutely still and feel that ghost of movement in your body. And then exhale, release the breath. Soften the body. Pause here for a moment. And then I'd like us to switch the cross of our legs. I also invite you to kind of elevate the hips. I don't know why I always choose to sit on a block. It never is quite where I want it to be, but there it is. So the cross of the legs will feel awkward. Maybe you support the knees, who knows. And we move into our shoulders a little bit. So on an inhale, bring the arms overhead. Arms stay wide, like we're creating a bowl to collect all the energy of the universe. Exhale, hands come together to our heart. Shoulders stay down, and that's all it is. Inhale, opening up. Exhale, hands come to the heart. So let this slow your movement down and slow your breathing down. And imagine that you are collecting all of the goodness of the universe and just bringing it into your heart. Or maybe you're just creating more space to breathe. move. Feel the connection of the palms in front of your heart as it gets there. And maybe you have an intention, a focus, a mantra to call in. Let it move with the breath. Feel the opening of the heart as you lift your arms, the drawing together as the palms come down. Inhale one more time. Pause, open, hold the breath for just a moment. And then exhale, bring the hands to the heart. And release. Just breathe here. Hands release to the lap. Feel the body. What are you aware of in this moment? Beautiful. Let's make our way to hands and knees. So feel free to pat up those knees if you'd like. We're going to move into a spinal balance here. So let's start with the left leg back, toes to the earth, right arm forward, fingertips to the earth. And we're going to lift these limbs with the breath. So as we inhale, hand and foot lift, thumb faces the sky. Exhale, release to the earth. Let the toes touch and the fingertips touch. Keep going with your breath. Inhale to lift and expand. Exhale to release and ground. So option to just do legs, option to just do the arm. You pick, maybe you do both, maybe you pause and rest for a while. But see if you can keep the strength and engagement in the core so that when the hand and foot touch, you don't like completely get heavy in them. Just let them lightly tap the earth. Follow the breath. Gaze is on the earth, so their neck is long, the back of the neck is long. Rest when you need to. Keep the belly engaged. Almost there. Last one, inhale. Exhale, release to all fours. Settle back into child's pose for a minute. Let the forehead release, stretch out the lower back. If there's another place that you would rather be, find that place of rest. And then gently come back up to hands and knees. So now we go to the other side. The right leg comes out, toes to the earth. The left hand comes forward, fingertips to the earth. And we follow the breath again. Inhaling to lift and reach. Exhale to lower and ground. Feel the reach from the fingertips to the heels. Expansion away from each other. Lift towards the sky. Strengthen the core. And again, you can always do just arms. You can always do just legs. Make this your practice. Make it feel good in your body. I am merely here for suggestions. I've always said I'm not the boss of you. Keep this movement slow and steady, the breath spacious, even here. Second side's always a little bit more challenging. Be gentle with yourself, my friends. Last one, inhale. Exhale, release to all fours and take a child's pose again. Knees come wide, forehead releases, arms can come beside you if you'd like. Beautiful, and then gently sit up. So we are moving into pigeon, and they give you a couple of options. So first option is to remain seated, finding pigeon here. I would rather you stay seated than on your back. I know some of us love a reclined pigeon, but if full pigeon isn't something that your body enjoys, you can stay here. Next is making sure you have support underneath your hips. So maybe you grab a bolster or a blanket. Our left leg is going to come forward first. Okay, and so when we come into pigeon, make sure this knee is a little bit wider than the hip. And that foot can be tucked in as close to the hip as you'd like, making sure it doesn't hurt the knee. That back leg is extended straight back from the hip. Yep, and again, the support comes underneath this left hip. Make sure the hips are even. So once we get into this, we're going to move with the breath here. So as we inhale, we lift the heart. As we exhale, we fold forward, just as far as you desire. Doesn't have to be a lot. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Find your pace, find your rhythm with your breath. Feel the lift of the heart. So this mimics that motion we did with our arms, right? We're inhaling, opening to the universe, exhaling, drawing everything back to our heart, but just in a very different way, right? Our heart is what's coming to the earth. Our heart is what's lifting to the universe. And we get a lovely little hip and lower back stretch while we're at it. If you would prefer to just pause and breathe, you sure can. Good. For the last 30 seconds, just fold forward and breathe in a pigeon. Be still and let the breath continue to be spacious and long. Feel all the points of your body that are connected to the earth here. Keep the back of the neck long so the gaze is at the hands or on the ground between your wrists. Feel the breath. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and press back up. And to come out of pigeon today, I want us to just roll onto the hip and bring the legs out in front of us, straightening them, shaking them out. Kind of let that circulation come back in. Feel the difference between the two legs. And then we'll go the other way. So now let's bring that right leg in front of us. Bring that left leg behind us. Again, making sure that right knee is a little bit wider than the hip. The foot is tucked in as much or as little as you'd like. And that right hip has support underneath it. Now you know kind of where we're going. So give yourself a little bit of extra love. This is not about getting the deepest pigeon you've ever had. This is about feeling the shape of the body and finding breath and movement there. All right, so here we go. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Find your flow. Let this movement be in the body, not just the head and shoulders, right? It's easy to just kind of move the head up and down. But I want this to be the whole torso. On your next exhale, just fold and breathe, taking the last 30 seconds in our pigeon, folding towards the earth. This reminds me of the sadhana that we did that had pigeon. And I think we all realized that we never knew we needed 2 minutes of pigeon a day, right? Good. Gently bring the hands back up. And then roll onto that hip. Take the legs in front of us. Shake it out. Keep breathing for a moment. Feel that circulation return. Excellent. So go ahead and grab a block or a bolster, and we're going to come to Virasana, so hero's pose, which means we're sitting back on our heels. But even if you can just comfortably sit back on your heels, I want you to tuck a block or something underneath your hips so you have a little bit of elevation. There's that word again. It's funny how I build these things, and then as I do them again and again, and with you guys, it's so different having you all here with me to do it, because so many things are revealed as I teach it. It's different doing it just on my own. Love it. Okay, this is our Sat Kriya, okay? And a Kriya is simply a complete set of movements. This is a position and breath with sound. We inhale, Sat, exhale, Nam, Nam, Sat, Nam. And it's kind of a whisper, Sat, Nam, Sat, Nam. And as you do this, I want you to think about the pelvic floor and the diaphragm contracting. Sat on the inhale, nam on the exhale. Okay, now the last little bit, options to just put the hands at the heart or to take a little bit of a bind. So hands come out in front of us, one hand on top of the other, palms come together, interlace the fingers, pointer fingers up, arms stay straight and they just reach overhead. Yep, you may be like, wow, I can't figure that out in my brain, or I don't like this position. Hands to the heart. All right, and so now we get to find Sat Nam for 2 minutes. Let's take a breath. Inhale, exhale, and begin. Really feel the pumping of the pelvic floor and the diaphragm. We're massaging out the intestines and the lower belly here, really getting that those lower chakras activated, that sacral, that root, and even into that powerhouse, that solar plexus. So everything we've been doing in our sadhana is upper chakras, and this one is quite decidedly lower chakras getting into the game. If you need to rest your arms, you can. If you need to rest your breath, you can. Keep squeezing the arms to the ears. About 30 more seconds. Reach through the fingertips. Reach through the arms. Press through the pelvic floor and the diaphragm. Inhale. Hold the breath. Keep the pelvic floor lifted. Squeeze the arms. Grow tall. Exhale. Let it all go. Breathe here for a minute. Whee! There's your pot of coffee for the morning. Feel the fire in the belly, the fire in the shoulders. Love that. Okay, grab your second block or book or water bottle, whatever it is you're using. And we're gonna come to, we call this resting warrior in Kundalini, but it's a low lunge. Back knee can be grounded or lifted, but I want your hands on the blocks, okay? My blocks are nice and tall. From here, I want your belly to stay connected to the thigh as your heart starts to lift. And here, the breath is nice and slow. Long, steady breath. For those of you watching at home, this was where Breath of Fire was going to come in, but it does not feel like it's right. I kind of knew that was going to be the case. So there's my one change that I stuck with. Soften the jaw. Find stillness. So a lot of what we've been doing is super energizing. This is a moment to kind of regroup and ground. Keep the weight of the body mostly in the legs so that you can lift your hands off the blocks. I find that we get really heavy in our hands here. Keep it in the legs. Keep the strength where it belongs. Good, straighten the front leg. Rotate to the side. Take your blocks with you. Take just a moment in a wide-legged straddle. And then we'll rotate on around to the other side, taking that lunge with the other leg in front. Sink the hips, lift the heart. Blocks are underneath the hands. Steady, slow breath here. Belly is connected, heart is lifted. strength is in the legs here. Straighten that front leg, turn back to the side. Take a moment in a wide-legged forward fold. And then bend the knees and roll up to stand, walking the feet in. Welcome to upright, my friends. Move those blocks out of the way. We'll move into Param Karam Dharam. So this again is a mini Kriya within the Kriya. This is a representation of our experiences in the past, our direction to the future, and everything we are in this moment, gathering our resources in this moment. So this is what it looks like. I'm going to show you before I start my timer. On an inhale, the left leg will step back and our arms reach overhead. That's an inhale. As we exhale, that left leg comes up and forward, hands come to the heart. The leg that's lifted steps forward and we come into this funky, it's another warrior pose. Left hand forward, right hand to the heart. And then we draw everything back to stand, palms face up. And then we do the same thing on the other side. Okay, don't worry, I'm gonna walk you through this. So let me get my timer started. Left leg starts us. Inhale, step back with the left, heart lifts. Exhale, come to the balance, left knee is in the air. Inhale, reaching forward, stepping into that future, left thumb forward. And then exhale back to stand, palms face up. Right leg steps back, inhale. Exhale, balance, right knee lifts. Inhale, stepping forward, gaze on the right thumb. Exhale, drawing everything back to this moment. Keep going, stepping back, inhale. Exhale, find the balance. Inhale, reaching forward. Exhale to the moment. Keep going. Last set, making sure we go through both sides of the body. No rush, really take your time. Feeling that balance come into the body. And when you do find yourself complete, we'll just breathe, standing with our palms facing up. Keeping the breath flowing here. Feel the body. And then release the hands. Grab your bolster and the blocks. We're going to move into our yogic squat. So Find a place that feels good to your body. This may be too tall for you, and that's totally fine. I want you to find a place that feels supported and still in a yogic squat. Okay? And yes, I know you can all do yogic squats, and that's totally fine. That's not what this is about today. This is about just finding this position of connection through the pelvis, of compression through the legs. There's all sorts of science that goes into these angles, but we're not going to get into that today. Once you get into this yogic squat, inhale, open the arms, open the heart. Exhale, palms come together in front of the heart. Good. Inhale, open. Exhale, together. That's all it is. Now you see why we want to support our hips. This is very challenging if we don't have support under our hips. Steady, slow breath here. Feel the expansion of the heart, the collection of all the goodness of the universe around you, and then bring it back to that center, to that core. Back to your place of truth. On your next inhale, pause, open, hold the breath in the body. Lift your pelvic floor, pause and reach through the fingertips. Retain that breath. Exhale, release, and breathe here. Make our way down to seated. We just drained my battery power. That's hilarious. The computer was full at the beginning and I just got noticed that it's about to die. All right, back to easy seated pose. And we end the way we began. So as we're ready, just start to move into circles. Sufi grind. Inhaling to circle forward. Exhaling to circle back. Let the gaze soften or the eyes close. Let this movement originate in the hips and the pelvis. Bringing it all back home. And gently switch directions, continuing to follow the breath, inhaling forward. Exhaling back. On your inhale, pause at center, hold the breath, lift the pelvic floor, tuck the chin. Be absolutely still. Exhale, release. Take a moment and just notice right here. Breathe and feel. Be present with yourself. Beautiful. And then we'll make our way into our Shavasana. Taking time to get comfortable. Finding supports and props that you would like to be fully supported. So typically in these Kundalini Kriyas that we do, it's challenging to be in Shavasana, at least for my nervous system. Today, hopefully you'll be a little bit grounded. We've really taken this energy and kind of spread it throughout the body. We've been really grounded at the end. So hopefully this will be a really beautiful, deep, blissful Shavasana. And we'll find our mantra at the very, very end. And so just take your time getting comfortable. It's important to check in and really get the wiggles out before you begin so you don't have to be disturbed and you can literally just melt down. Let the breath flow away, let the practice melt away. Begin to deepen the breath. Bringing yourself back to this moment. Slowly and gently start to feel more and more of your body as you put movement back in. Starting very small, taking your time. Gradually moving more of your body as you return bit by bit to this place, to this practice. Eventually making your way to rest on your side. Just taking a moment there. And with as little effort as necessary, gently making our way to seated in preparation for our mantra. Eyes can remain closed, focus can remain inwards. Finding support under your hips if that feels good to you. And as we're ready, we'll bring our palms to press in front of our heart. Lift the heart, connect the sternum. And we'll move into our mantra, Ong Namo Guru Dev Namo. I bow to the holy, to the teacher within. We'll just sing that repeatedly for a couple of minutes. So let's take a breath first. Let's inhale and exhale. Inhale to begin. Om Namo Guru Dev Namo. 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 Inhale. Exhale, release. Take a moment and just notice what is in your realm of awareness here. Then we'll bring our hands together one more time, rubbing them into each other. Turning to that heart space. Palms press. We'll finish with a single Sat Nam. I am truth, I am light. A long Sat, a short Nam. Let's take a breath and inhale to begin. Sat Nam. light born of the universe. You are unique and beautiful and loved. We shine for each other. We shine together. Shine, bright, sweet souls. Sat Nam. Namaste.